Hello, and welcome to the YouTube channel, Bean Steamers. I'd like to welcome everyone today who's watching this new video. Of course, we'd like to say hello to Harold the baby Bigfoot and also to Sammy the hippopotamus with the Mickey Mouse ears, the golden Mickey Mouse ears. I think he looks really good in them. Well, this week, as promised, we are going to finish up our chapter, our installment on air travel, and it's going to be part two of air travel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get going. As you step into the terminal, you may think that your pain and suffering have ended, but how wrong you are. You must still claim your baggage if it even got to the city that you just happened to be in. You find the carousel that your luggage is supposed to be on. It may not be on that carousel, and you watch other people's possessions go around and around and around while you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait some more. These bags must belong to the pseudo-homeless people that you just shared your common space with over the last few hours. You're amazed at what passes for luggage these days. Cardboard boxes wrapped in clear plastic, plastic tackle and toolboxes sealed with duct tape, and colorful beach bags zipped shut. Couldn't these people just go to their local discount store and spend $20 on a cheap suitcase? You also reflect on the physical condition of the suitcases that are on the carousel. There's no Louis Vuitton here. The truth of the matter is that buying good luggage and taking it on an airplane is a foolish thing to do because the baggage handlers are just going to destroy it. And you may wish to apply a simple rule to the recreational gambler when you pack because you are, in effect, placing a bet. You're gambling that not only will your luggage show up, but that all your belongings are going to be in the suitcase. Like the gambler, the simple rule is never bet, or in this case, pack, anything you can't afford to lose. The suitcase that is checked through is not the place for your new digital camera or your iPad. As you see your suitcase come up on the ramp, you breathe a sigh of relief. You attempt to pick it off the carousel without dislocating your shoulder, and you head for parking, car rental, or ground transportation, one of which will get you to your destination for that particular day. Maybe a hotel, hopefully it's your home. You toss the suitcase on the bed and you open it up, which is where you may find the airline's last little revenge on you because you're looking at a piece of paper that tells you that your suitcase was selected at random and searched for a nuclear bomb, a submachine gun, plastic explosive, 10 pounds of heroin, the Mona Lisa, or maybe something like cuticle scissors. However neatly you packed, your clothes and whatever else, like the nuclear bomb they missed, are in a state of total disarray. You may have put toilet items in a plastic Ziploc bag, and you now find that the inspectors neglected to zip them back up when they are finished, allowing contact lens solution or aftershave to go all over your clothes due to the atmospheric pressure of cruising altitude. You can try to get satisfaction from the air carrier for this, but if you bill out your time at any reasonable hourly rate, you're still going to lose money. Just forget it if that's the case, because that's exactly what the airlines want you to do. It's not right, but it's going to save you a lot of stress and heartache on your part if you just accept the facts that the airlines are not there for your convenience, but only for your torment. Then this whole thing is a lot easier to swallow. A variation of this luggage search is a check-in when you are told that you have been selected at random to have your luggage inspected. You and your bags are taken away from the ticket counter to another ticket counter that is closed. It's closed for business, but it's still in plain sight. There, in view of anyone who wants to walk by, your belongings are removed article by article and patted down like a beat cop frisking you after you assume the position. During this procedure, you may comment to the inspector, which is usually someone that, to you, is just a punk kid, too young to even understand the meaning of the word discretion. But you may not actually touch your belongings in your suitcase. This type of search verifies that you are not attempting to smuggle a loaded 44 Magnum in your jockey shorts. Make no mistake, the inspectors hold up your underwear, pat it down, really believing that a pack of C4 plastic explosives is going to fall out. Bear in mind as well that the personal belongings you packed are held up for all the terminal to see. So if you're subject to this type of search, you better hope that the inspection is done on your way to your destination, not on the way home, because your dirty underwear will be held up for all who walk by this desk to see. Now, this sounds unusual, but this really happened to me on an airline that shall remain nameless. However, a clue to which airline it was, the first clue, the name is composed of two directions, and the second clue, a person who really believes that he is the greatest musician in the world has a daughter of the same name. Of course, this type of inspection could be done without taking anything out of the suitcase. An inspector with even an average amount of common sense would tell you that they could slowly move their hands, their flattened hands, in between each layer of clothing and only remove the objects that didn't make sense to them for visual inspection. This would not be difficult to do, and it would not disturb your suitcase. That would not necessitate a repacking of all the items. The only reason for doing this inspection the way that they do it has got to be to let you know who's in charge and to keep you subservient to them, always reminding you that with a flick of their wrist, your presence on this flight will be denied. Though never verbally direct, this lesson on who's boss is meant to humiliate you and therefore lower the chances of you going postal at 39,000 feet. However, the chances of you losing it at cruising altitude are now probably greater due to the fact that you are publicly humiliated by having all present in the terminal know that your underwear has holes in it. With your traveling ended for the day, you finally feel that you can sit down and relax. If you're at home, perhaps you're in your favorite chair. If you're at a hotel, you might be lying on the bed, but you're probably in the hotel cocktail lounge. You're so grateful that your business with this airlines is at least temporarily over, and you don't even mind that the only thing on the TV is a reality show marathon, or that the person attempting to sing in the hotel lounge, yet another Mariah Carey wannabe, could quite possibly be a reject from the same show. Your mind drifts off into a world of fantasy, either due to the extreme fatigue or the liquor or both. A scenario begins to unfold that brings a calm, peaceful feeling to your body, which has been ravaged by warm bottled water and stale pretzels at high altitude. In this dream, your day begins by making a phone call to your hangar, telling the ground crew foreman that you need your jet with fuel for the coast in 3 hours. You shower, pack two handmade alligator suitcases to take with you. The larger one will hold your clothes and personal items that you will need, and the smaller one will be filled with scissors, fingernail clippers, screwdrivers, butcher knives, and a loaded semi-automatic Glock 9mm, just because you can. You also supervise the loading of a Sidewinder missile into the passenger compartment of your jet, once again, just because you can. You pull your Ford Escort right into the hangar as you arrive. Your Ford Escort, you have to temporarily drive this car. The cash flow that you have has been somewhat stunted to all the money you spent on the jet and flying lessons. The ground crew greets you with a smile and takes your alligator bags into the luggage compartment where there's plenty of room. After tipping each of the ground crew a crisp $100 bill, you pre-flight the plane, which basically consists of kicking the tires, entering the aircraft, sitting down in the pilot chair, put on a set of headphones so you can communicate with the tower, and mutter to yourself, I kicked the tires, now it's time to light the fires. The Beechcraft Premier comes to life as the engine begins the starting cycle. When the twin jet engines are at full power You get permission to taxi to the end of the runway, and soon your clearance to take off comes through. It's time to rock and roll. You adjust your flaps, pull back on the thrusters, and when you reach a pretty good ground speed, you rotate the plane, pull back on the stick, and it starts climbing to the air. You feel the aircraft gently rise from the earth, sending you into clear blue skies of freedom. When you reach your flight ceiling, you're almost swooning at the level of freedom you have attained. The lower class, which rose above you, is struggling with legroom and last year's pretzels almost a mile below you in the crowded air traffic lanes of 39,000 feet. The only thing that you're going to see at this cruising altitude is a clear sunny day and the occasional UFO. You land on the coast feeling refreshed and content, making much better time than the commercial flights, and you leave your plane in the capable hands of the local ground crew. The millions of dollars you paid for the plane and the operational costs of $3,000 an hour are well worth it. Well, as you awaken, you realize that it was all just a dream, but you are, in some strange way, satisfied. That is until you find out that you have to go to Walla Walla, Washington next week, and it's a 4-hour flight with a movie. But you do vow to lead a revolt against the airlines, maybe some type of boycott, that you envision yourself as some kind of 21st century Che Guevara, fighting for the common man and the inalienable rights that he has for comfort and sustenance aboard a commercial airliner. But then you realize that the world must keep turning and commerce stops for no man. You still have to get from point A to point B. They got you, and they know it. Well, that's going to take care of our installment of airline travel on Bean Steamers, this YouTube channel. Next week, next Friday, we'll have another installment for you, and it's going to talk about some of the humorous and unfortunate mistakes that I've made in my life, and there's been quite a few. So we'll look forward to seeing you next week on Bean Steamers.